they might not make the playoffs. They probably won't make the playoffs at 7-8 at this point in the season. Nick, what do you think? Should the Cowboys pay Dak the $35 to $40 million per year he's rumored to make?
Jen, I don't mean to question your read at all. Was that Stephen Jones or Dak's agent?
That was Stephen Jones.
Okay. Because
that was Jerry Jones.
Are we sure that wasn't Dak's agent?
I know.
I don't know what these guys are doing. I don't know how they've... My God, one day I'd love to be on the other side of the negotiation with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you're making my case for me. We've made very aggressive offer to Dak, and he's had every opportunity to prove he's worth more, and I think he almost said it.
I know.
He stopped himself. He's like, and I think he's at every step of the way put us in position. Well, thanks. More money now. The Cowboys are going to make Dak Prescott one of the 3 highest paid quarterbacks in the history of pro football, and it is going to be a massive mistake. There is, we can see the history of this, which is paying guys that you know are good, but not great because you think you have to, and it never works out well.
For fear what? That you'll lose them?
The thing is this. They don't even, because of the franchise tag, you don't even have any credible fear you would lose him for a minimum of 2 seasons. But for fear of setting a bad precedent, not showing faith in him with the locker room, some odd, I don't know. I don't know why the Rams said at the last moment, there's all the money, Jared Goff, when they had no reason to. I don't know why teams seem to be in a hurry to pay guys before they have to at this one position when every other position has to sing for their supper, hold out, beg and plead for every last dollar. I know it's the most important position, but Dak Prescott is not going anywhere. You have the franchise tag to hold over his head, and the fact that you are going to pay him, I believe, north of $35 million a year when you couldn't compete for a championship when he was making south of $5 million a year is a massive, massive mistake.
It is what the NFL is. He is going to be one of the top 3 paid quarterbacks in the league. Is he one of the top 3 quarterbacks? No, not even close. But was Kirk Cousins? No. Was Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz? No, it's the way the NFL is. And I think in that $35 million area, I would pay him. Now, if he wants 40, and maybe that's why they haven't signed anything thus far, then I would franchise him. I would not pay him 40. But let's face it, if they give him $35 million a year, in 4 years, where's that going to be? He's not going to be in the top 3 anymore in 4 years. He may not be in the top 6 in 4 years.
But he'll never, he might not be, and he certainly won't be one of the 3 best, and he certainly won't be one of the 6 best. And just real quick, Broussard, you just mentioned guys. I think you said Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. You know what all those teams have in common? None of them got a shot at winning the Super Bowl this year.
Well,
most of them
Matt
missed the
Ryan
playoffs
was in the Super Bowl
before he got this huge deal.
Carson Wentz, though, people think, I mean, this is a guy, right, obviously before he got the deal, he led them to an 11-2 record.
Yep.
But he's a guy people think can get them to a Super Bowl eventually. I think, look, it's hard to find a franchise quarterback. I mean, how much longer do they want to, if they get rid of him, who knows when the next time they could get a franchise quarterback? This is a guy, you know he's a leader. I don't want to go through all the things I did yesterday, but he's, you know, the teammates love him. He can be the face of your franchise. You know, he has all the intangibles, and he's not bad. Look, he's 39-24 as a starter. Now, you want to shake your head, poo-poo that. Only Russell Wilson and Tom Brady have better records as starters since he's been in the league. Russell Wilson and Tom Brady, and that's 6 games without Ezekiel a few years ago with the suspension, and then that's this 7-8 season, and yet he's still 3rd in wins. So I just think, look, statistically, you can look at the numbers. You know, I'm not even going to highlight the yardage, where he's 2nd in the league in yards, because that's kind of an archaic way of judging somebody's season. But he is 4th in yards per attempt,
which is an important stat.
He's tied for 5th in touchdowns, and he's 4th in QBR. So I think this is a guy, this is your quarterback. You just have to make sure you get the pieces.
Well, what's more important, all those numbers and personal statistics, or getting your team to the playoffs in games that you should be winning, in winnable games?
So again, I'm going to go option C, because I'm not a quarterback wins stat guy. And it's not fair this year to say, well, Dak doesn't have the wins, but he has the stats. When in previous years, I was saying, because I want to stay consistent, I know he's got a bunch of wins, but look at the numbers, look at his lack of it. To me, you are making the case that so many NFL teams do, which is, what's the alternative? The deal won't age that poorly down the road. When to me, it is this simple. Let's call it $36 million, just for simplicity's sake, okay? Because that would set the new market. It wouldn't be 40. It's probably around where the deal is. The question is Dak Prescott worth three Pro Bowl level players at other positions? Because $12 million a year gets you the best running back in football, gets you a good wide receiver, gets you an excellent corner. Pick the position. A $12 million a year will get you the top of the market for basically anything other than pass rusher, the very, very best wide receivers, and a couple other guys, left tackle, right? Dak is not. Russell Wilson, yes. Aaron Rodgers, yes. Drew Brees, yes. Brady up until this year, even though he didn't take the money, yes. Next year, Deshaun Watson, sign me up. Patrick Mahomes, 3.5 players, no problem. But the other guys who've gotten this type of money, it scaled to when they got it. Whether it's Matt Stafford, whether it's Matt Ryan, whether it's Jared Goff right now, what we've seen is they might be worth 1.5 of those players, and they cannot make up the spread. And so what do you do with Dak? To me, the Cowboys
just
clearly won't.
Franchise him.
Yeah, I would have offered Dak 27, the Kirk Cousins a per year deal, not fully guaranteed. And if you don't want it, Dak, you know what? You got $26 million coming to you next year via the franchise tag, $31 million the year after, and I would do the non-exclusive franchise tag, which means if another team wants him, they can come get him and give me 2 first-round picks, because I can build my team more smartly that way. Because if this team this year, Broussard, isn't talented enough to even make the playoffs, much less the Super Bowl, what's it going to be when you have to start paring away the roster because your quarterback gets a $30 million per year raise?
But that's the point. You mentioned running back. We got our running back. And if Zeke falls off, we got Tony Pollard for a few years. You know, we signed up a lot of players on the defense. We already gave them the contracts. Amari Cooper was disappointing in the game Sunday, but they'll probably bring him back maybe at a discounted rate. So a lot of those positions are already filled. And I think you said if they're not talented enough. I think they are talented enough if they get the right coach in there. I think this is a team that can compete with the top teams in the NFC.
All right, a lot of questions headed into the offseason if they do not make the playoffs. Coming up, switch to some basketball. Will the Kawhi Leonard-LeBron James rivalry boil over on Christmas? That is next. This is Christmas First.
When this become a rivalry?
Lamar Jackson cemented the 2019 MVP with his performance on Sunday against the Browns. Another game with over 300 total yards of offense. His head coach, John Harbaugh, was singing his quarterback's praises. Say what?
How many interceptions did he have for the season? 6. 36 to 6. Man, what more do you need to say? It's amazing. It's tremendous. It's one of the best. Yeah. Should I say it?
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go on.
Marshall? It's not bad for a running back. We good? That's a drop to Mike.
I love John.
I do like John.
I like him. Approachable, fun.
Jenna, you know I love to think about the sliding doors moments in NFL
you and I both.
history.
Yep.
The moment John Harbaugh did not listen to the fans in that playoff game, did not listen to maybe part of his brain that was saying
To put Flacco back in.
Flacco back in, where he stuck with Lamar. They were going to lose that game either way. Let Lamar actually get a little confidence based on the final couple drives against the Chargers, and showed unwavering support and dedication to this player. I do really wonder that if they'd gone back to Flacco, even if the moment the game ended, Lamar's our quarterback, what path that would have put his career on, instead of the fact that he might be the unanimous MVP this year.
And I thought that's what they should have done. I never thought at halftime, okay, Lamar's not your guy for the future. But I did think you got to go to Flacco. You got to.
A lot of people did.
But to your point, what if they won that game? And then maybe Flacco plays well in the next game. You know, then you do have a question mark.
Or even if they don't win, what does it do to Lamar's belief that I'm always going to be your guy? Because Harbaugh's been unwavering with him. He's been great.
Credit to him.
All right, time now for scores to start your morning. The Green Bay Packers took down the Vikings 23-10 last night to clinch the NFC North. All fast.